Welcome back. It is another day. It is another sports card video. Today, we've got the what's selling on COMC. We're looking at data from last week. We're going to go through football, basketball, hockey, baseball. Anything else? No, I think that's what we're covering today. Stick around. All right, guys, how we doing?
I feel pretty good, too. I think I finally got some sleep.
Today we are going to start with hockey. We're right smack in the middle of hockey playoffs. We've got some of the usual suspects, but we've got one name that has popped up here that I actually have questions for viewership. What is going on? So let's look at the top 5 sellers, and we're going by volume of sales, not by price. So it's not as if one player can have a huge sale and that launches them up to the top 5. It's taking sales from port sales, from the website on COMC to eBay stuff. So it's taking all the data in, spitting it out, and this is what we've got. So number 1, Connor McDavid. Not a huge surprise there. The dude's a monster. Number 2, Alex Ovechkin, the legend. Number 3, Connor Bedard. Now, I've heard this name being thrown around. I am not a big hockey follower / fan. I love watching hockey in person. I've been to Tampa Bay Lightning games when I lived in Florida. Awesome to watch in person. But to say that I'm following the sport, I'm not. This is how I kind of follow some of this stuff, is watching what the cardboard is doing. And from what I've heard, Connor Bedard is kind of the new phenom coming up. Let me know, though. I feel like there's a lot of these young guys with tons of potential, scoring potential. And so this is an interesting time in hockey. So we've got Connor Bedard at 3. We've got Austin Matthews at 4. And a name I did not recognize. So again, viewership, if you could help me out. David Pastrnak. I don't know if that is a new prospect coming up, but his stuff is moving on COMC last week. All right, football dominated mostly by quarterbacks, but we've got one wide receiver in as well. To me, this is very interesting. Number 1 is Trevor Lawrence. TLaw, man. I mean, if you look at all the QBs in the AFC, there is a lot of talent in the AFC, and Trevor Lawrence is number 1 in terms of volume. Number 2, Justin Fields. I'm also surprised at this too. There's people that are speculating on Justin Fields making a little bit of a move. Now, I will say Chicago Bears fans have gotten into my comments and said, hey, look, man, they got a lot of draft capital. There is some movement going on in this organization. They feel like there's momentum. I mean, really, if you look to it, the NFC North, it's not really a dominant division. Aaron Rodgers kind of slowing down. Is he leaving the Packers? Even if he stays, is that Packers team going to be as dominant as when he was in his prime? I don't know. I think that Aaron Rodgers is kind of slowly, I watched Drew Brees his last couple of years. He really slowed down. Rodgers hasn't really slowed down in the sense that his physical skills have slowed down a lot, but these are kind of those twilight years. It's going to happen. Catches up with all of these guys. Father Time bats 1,000. He always wins. And so Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay is an interesting one to watch. But I think there's a lot of speculation there with Justin Fields and the Bears. Can they make some moves there in the NFC North with a good young team? 3, Patrick Mahomes II. The guy is, what can you say about Patrick Mahomes? He's the most dominant quarterback / player in the NFL right now. I think a lot of people are trying to guess, is this guy going to be a regular Hall of Famer, or is he going to be in that upper echelon, that elite, Tom Brady world? He's already got 2 rings. He's been to 5 straight AFC championship games, which is not easy to do in a loaded AFC. And the Chiefs don't look to be getting any worse. So it's just an interesting time. I mean, is Patrick Mahomes going to be this next Tom Brady, the Jordan, whatever, this next guy that's just going to just win a ton of titles? The next guy on the list is going to probably have something to say about that, and it's Joe Burrow at 4. Joe Burrow at 4, and we've got Jamar Chase, his favorite target, at 5, going all the way back to their LSU days. These two, to me, are kind of the sweethearts of the hobby right now as far as QB wide receiver combo. And I know a lot of people love Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, but he's got Kirk Cousins throwing to him. I personally don't think Cousins is a terrible quarterback. A lot of people love to hate on Cousins, but he doesn't have that same love as a Joe Burrow. Joe Cool is the guy. He's that next guy coming up. Everyone really thinks that it's going to be Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes battling it out for these AFC titles. And then you've got Josh Allen there as kind of that next guy that's also always going to be in the mix probably with those two. Then you have Trevor Lawrence. There's just so much AFC talent. Justin Herbert's way back here somewhere else, and that guy is talented. I tell you what, if I was one of these AFC quarterbacks, I would be looking at this and saying, I need to get to the NFC. After this rookie contract is done, I need to move to a good NFC team and build a life there, because the NFC is just not as dominant. Now, maybe that changes. You've got another QB heavy draft coming. It's an interesting time in the NFL where you do have a lot of up and coming QBs at all times. I just saw the 49ers are shopping Trey Lance potentially. This guy was the number 2 pick just going back a year or two ago, and he's on the trade block. It looks like they're going to go with Brock Purdy. There's a lot of parity in the NFL, so we'll have to see what happens here. But Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase rounded out. They are the hobby darlings for the QB wide receiver grouping. Basketball, and again, this is excluding Michael Jordan. He's always number 1 on the site. Number 1, LeBron James. Number 2, De'Aaron Fox. Sacramento making waves in the playoffs. What are they up 2-1 on the Warriors? I think the Warriors picked up a win last night. But yeah, could the Kings pull this thing off? They're just a good, young, exciting team. The Warriors, the old guard, the defending champs, are they going to go down to the newcomers? The Kings really have very little pressure in the sense that the expectation is the Warriors. The Warriors are going to win. They're going to go deep in the playoffs. They're the defending champs. But they've been a really bad road team all year, and is that catching up with them now? The Kings doing some work, and De'Aaron Fox, a big part of that. Number 3, Ja Morant, moving, trading. What's going on with Ja Morant? Number 4, Giannis. And number 5, a guy that's kind of always been on the rise here. Doesn't get talked about as much, but it's SGA. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Great player, great young player, but he just kind of gets overshadowed, I think, by some of the legends still in the game, whether it's LeBron or Steph. But this is a guy I think it'd be interesting to watch over the next 2-3 years. As these older guys retire, it's always who's that next crop that's going to come through and just win all these titles. Giannis is certainly up there, but SGA, I think, is an interesting guy to watch in this group. And we move to baseball, probably the hottest player, new player, prospect, if you will. Shohei Ohtani, the guy can just do everything. And he is most memorable here recently as he struck out Mike Trout, to win the Classic here recently. So Shohei Ohtani kind of on top of the world right now in baseball. Number 2, we've got Wander Franco, who is making a little bit of a comeback. I know that he was hurt last year, and now he's starting to, there's some excitement around Wander Franco. Number 3, Mike Trout. Number 4, Adley Rutschman. And number 5, Jared Kelenic. Those last 2 guys, I know baseball people are going to be like, dude, you're killing me. I'm not a baseball fan. I don't follow it. So those last 2 guys, in the comments, what's going on with Jared Kelenic and Adley Rutschman? Because I don't know a lot about those 2. I assume that they are prospects. They've probably been in the league for 10 years, and I just don't even know it. Apologies, guys. I'm not a baseball fan, but interesting data there. These are the folks that are trading the most as of last week in terms of volume on COMC.com. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Check out COMC.com. Don't wait on it. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.